Hey, look which one I got. Look what I got.
Here, Elizabeth, go choose a pretty color that you like.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid.
A podcast where we watch your kid shows so you don't have to.
We are your hosts, Diane and Gabriele.
So come, be a kid with us. Hi, welcome to Watch Like a Kid. I'm Diane Colley, and as you guys know, Gabby is still stuck in Ohio, so she's not here this week. We're gonna... What is...
Hi!
Gabby?
How's it going? We're filming for Watch Like a Kid today, right?
Oh, I am, but aren't you supposed to be in Ohio?
Oh, no, babe, summer's over.
Summer is
Yeah.
over.
I'm back in New York, baby. I'm here.
Wait, hey, we're both wearing purple.
Oh my god. Do you know what? That's perfect because I watched a really fantastic movie last week.
Oh my god, thank goodness, because I didn't know what to talk about this week, but I wanted to talk about something. So what's the movie?
Harold and the Purple Crayon.
I've been seeing that.
I know, I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, all throughout the summer, every movie we went to see to cover, I would just keep seeing previews for that movie.
Which is so crazy because I had not seen one preview for that movie, and yet I'm the one who watched the movie.
Yes, it's so funny. It was also in the bookstore. I was in a children's bookstore. Books of Wonder, if you're in New York, support your independent bookstores. And I saw the little, like, cardboard book version of Harold and the Purple Crayon. And I was like, wait, this looks different than the previews for the movie.
I think, yeah, I mean, there's a grown man in the movie.
Yeah.
And in the book, it's a little baby.
It's like a little bald baby in, like, a onesie.
And this is a grown man in a onesie.
Well, hold on to your crayons, kids, because this is going to be an episode for the ages. Okay, well, first off, loving the hat you've got today.
Thanks, fam. It is my NYU commencement graduation hat. I graduated from NYU in 2022, which is also the same year that Taylor Swift graduated from NYU.
And I'm always so jealous of that fact, because one, purple is my favorite color. So you went to a school where that was literally the school colors. And two, Speak Now is like one of my favorite albums.
Which is purple.
And then you got to see
Taylor. She was my commencement speaker, yeah. She was phenomenal. She said, "We are all writers."
Meanwhile, I lost the Ticketmaster war. And now Eras is almost over.
Which is crazy because we actually predicted that.
We did.
Yeah, like, what was it? It was the year before. It was 2021. Halloween in 2021. We had a group friend costume, and we decided to go, each one of us, as a different Taylor Swift era.
And we actually decided that in, like, April.
Yeah.
Because we were like, let's plan Halloween 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
And then, a few months later, she comes out, I'm doing the Eras tour. And
yeah.
like, we all just dressed up as the Eras.
Crazy.
And I actually have Reputation merch on today. I didn't even realize.
Is that rep?
It is. I technically Reputation.
How?
You know what? Reputation is my favorite album.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that era. I went to see that in concert.
Wow.
Where I got floor seats easily from Ticketmaster for like $100, $150,
Dang.
mind you.
Those
I did
were
not
the
even
days.
wait in a queue. Those were the days.
Oof.
And I don't know what this is her cat, one of her cats, and unicorns. And she just had this fun little, like, you think of all the snakes and like the black,
but that
and
was
the
part
red.
of the rollout.
This is part of the rollout.
I will say, I think that is a really great merch shirt.
It's my favorite. I literally have had it since 2018. I will never get rid of it.
I'm not trying to be rude to whoever designs the merch now for Taylor, but I don't think it's hitting.
No.
I don't think it's hitting. I don't get it.
I want
That's
fun. And when I first got it, I was like, ooh, this is a lot to take in, because
It is a lot.
You've got the unicorns, you've got their eyes are like rainbow colored, and then you've got like the tie-dye, but
I think it's amazing.
it's my favorite.
But it's also kind of like, if you know, you know.
I love it. Yeah. I would honestly. I wore this to the concert too.
Amazing.
And I loved it with like, of course, with like fishnet stockings to be
have
a little more rep on the bottom. And then look at us. We in our dreams we would have gone to Eras.
Yeah,
we would have gone to the tour.
When are the Canada dates? Can we still make it? I mean, we don't have any money. She would have to gift us some tickets.
Like that's gonna happen. Do you think this is vintage enough because it was from like 2017, 2018 to be able to sell? Anybody want like a sweaty used
in exchange for an Eras
merch?
ticket?
Yeah, you can't. This isn't on her website.
We'll give you a friendship bracelet.
Yeah, we'll give you. I'll make you a friendship bracelet if you want. We've got them all. We'll give you custom watch like a kid friendship bracelets.
Oh my goodness!
If you can get us into Eras, please, dear Lord.
Speaking of Eras. We are in the era
of movies.
It has been quite the summer for children's films.
Yes.
We saw almost everything that came out in theaters for kids, right?
Pretty much, I feel like. And it has been a roller coaster. There's been animation, live action. There's been some that are like really good, some that are just not quite hitting. And I feel like we're kind of coming into a lull almost now that summer is just about ending.
Yeah. So it really is ending with a bang, in my opinion. A good bang.
Okay.
Because I watched a lot of kids movies for y'all. A lot of kids movies. Go to our channel, watch like a kid.
Catch up on all of them. If you did not go take your kid to the movies at all this summer, go watch our episodes and we will tell you which ones are worth going.
Seriously.
And which ones you could just stream later on a random rainy day.
I really thought that this was not going to be that good of a movie. I went in blind. I didn't see a trailer or anything.
I'm not going to lie, the trailer did look pretty corny.
Okay. Because I think that you told me that. I think you were like, oh, it seems like it's not going to be very good. But I go in there and I said this and I'll say it again. I'm saying it with my full chest. And I saw some good, Inside Out 2 came out this year, okay? There's been some good
tough to beat
kids movies. I will say this is the most fun I have had in a children's movie all summer.
No way.
The most fun. And I'm such an Inside Out fan that I literally, I have an Inside Out blanket. I love Inside Out, okay? And I had a great time in Inside Out 2. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. Maybe objectively a better movie still. But as far as, me just going and having a good time and being, enthralled... Mm-hmm. This stinking movie, but this man is Purple Crayon. It really got to me. Yes. And it's funny because I was like, surely I must be alone in this because I do like bad movies, guys. I'm not very, I don't have great taste.
Kids movies, sometimes it's good to have a bad movie.
So I looked it up. I was like, let me see what the reviews are, right? Because maybe I'm wrong and we should reassess. But I still would have went with my opinion. I wouldn't have lied to y'all. I look up on Rotten Tomatoes, which again, it's take it with salt, it's Rotten Tomatoes. But I look up Rotten Tomatoes. The critic score is a 29%. Yeah, and I was like, oh dang, because I really like this movie. Am I weird? So then I click on it, and guess what the audience score is?
90.
91%.
Called it, honestly.
So I am not alone. This movie slaps. I love it. So the movie does start out with what you would expect, right? So if you've read Harold and the Purple Crayon, you know the imagery of the little baby with his blue jumpsuit and his purple crown, and he's drawing.
Yeah.
And so the movie starts out with this blank white screen and the little purple drawings, and there's this narrator that we know is Harold. And Harold is talking to us about how, he's talking to, I don't think he's talking to us, he's talking to someone that we don't really know who he's talking to until they start talking back. And the person who talks back he calls him the narrator. Mm-hmm. And the narrator is, because at one point Harold's like, well, I drew all these creatures, who drew me, right?
Oh.
Yeah. And so the narrator comes in and goes, oh, I did. And he's
very meta.
Yes. And the narrator's like, oh, I've seen you grow up, so we start as a baby and then he becomes a man and means I've seen you grow up and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, so what are you? And he goes, I guess you could just say I'm your old man. Okay. So he wants to meet his old man. He's like, I want to meet him. Yeah. He has this portal to the real world, which we're a very real world era lately. Let's go to the real world.
Does it start out, because it's a live action?
It starts out with the animated.
So it starts out animated.
Yeah, it starts out exactly like the
very
illustrations
much like
in the
book.
Yes.
Okay.
but when he creates this portal to the real world, he goes in as a real person, and that's when the live action part starts.
Okay.
All right, and so he's a man. He's still in his blue jumpsuit.
Stop it.
So if you could picture Zachary Levi in a blue jumpsuit, and people were making fun of him. At first, I thought he was in New York because they're always in New York.
They're
right?
always
and they're in a park, you know. So I'm like, oh, maybe they're like in Central Park or something. But people are like commenting on his outfit. They're like, what are you wearing? And Smurf and like calling him weird names.
Oh, New York.
And so
that
I'm
would
like,
hit.
yeah, he's not in New York because no one cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Like, honestly, great job. So I was like, no, they can't be in New York because everyone thinks he's dressed weird. And so he is I'm pretty sure he is in Rhode Island somewhere.
Okay.
All right. So but correct me if I'm wrong, friends. So he's like walking around and he's like, oh my gosh, your real world is so fascinating. He has a moose. In the book, there's a moose.
I remember that.
Yes.
He draws a little friend.
When the moose comes in the real world, he's a man too. So it's not like a real moose, which I honestly thank you, because I don't think I could have handled like some
like a
CGI
talking
moose.
I do
following
not
him
like
around.
CGI animals where their mouths are moving, but they look like a real animal. I don't like it.
And there's also this porcupine, and she comes out as a woman. So there's three real people who are actually not real people now in this real world.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So Harold's walking around, and he's like, oh, everyone's so mean. Everyone's so mean in the real world. They find real people clothes that are not jumpsuits, and they put those on. And Harold's like, we gotta find old man. So he draws like a bicycle, right? And he's like driving his bike, but he doesn't know how the real world works. So he's riding it on the road with all of the cars and stuff.
Okay.
So the cars are like honking at him. They're like, oh, for the love of God, like get out of the way. But he doesn't know what's going on. And Moose is finally like, I think like, so we're doing this wrong. And so pan to Zooey Deschanel.
Okay.
She's driving with her kid. And her kid, he's probably like in 3rd grade, I'm guessing. And her kid, he's like talking to someone in the back seat, but there's no one there. So we're like, okay, is this like an imaginary friend situation? Like, what's going on? And then he's like, Mom, look out. And Zoe was like, oh no. And he said she's supposed to run over Harold and Moose.
Oh, Lord.
Meanwhile, Porcupine also like got lost somewhere. Porcupine's not with them.
I was about to ask, like,
That'll come back
were they
later.
on like a tandem
Yeah,
bike?
like, that'll come back later. So, I mean, they could control her bike.
Porcupine's like, I'm out.
Yeah, she got lost.
Were they also in blue onesies?
No,
They just came out looking stylish?
Porcupine is wearing such an interesting fit. She's got like a punk vibe, so she has this spiky purple hair.
Oh, okay.
And which I guess makes sense because Porcupine. And then she's wearing, I can't really remember, but she's definitely wearing like Doc Martens, but they're like 2 different colored Doc Martens, like a black and like a red, I think.
Okay.
And then she's got like tights, like punk rock tights with like a skater skirt and like some sort of netty like top.
How very 2013 Disney of her.
Exactly 2013.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I'm here for
Yes.
it. Okay.
And
Okay.
Moose is wearing a sweater with moose on it.
Say less. Say less.
And it does
I
bother.
just imagine their focus group being like, how do we make a moose into a real human? And some kid was probably like, hey, how about a moose shirt? And they were
Boom.
like, boom.
Bad.
Costume department, done.
Done. Now, it does bother me that Harold doesn't pick purple as his choice of real people clothes, but whatever. It's fine.
It's fine. You gotta stay true to the book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So he gets hit by the lovely Zooey Deschanel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Zoe runs over in true Zoe fashion and is like, oh my God. I'm so sorry. Can I get you a Band-Aid?
I'm sorry. Did he get run over by Zooey Deschanel or Jessica Day?
Yeah. You know, it's almost as if Jessica Day had a kid and became jaded. Like, that's like the character.
Oh,
because
my God.
this particular woman, like, you could tell in another life, like, we learned this later in the movie, she thought she was going to be a concert pianist.
Oh.
But now she, like, works at a grocery store.
Oh.
So it's almost like she used to have this, like, creative, fun-loving life, and now she's, like, jaded, and she just has to, like, make it through.
Oh my God, it's like Barbie,
Yes!
where America Ferrera, like, had to grow up.
Actually, this is Barbie. Did they, like, steal the plot? Because he goes to the real world,
And
like Barbie did, and then there's 2 characters, a kid and a mom, who has to, like, help this guy that's whoa.
Mattel's about to come
Whoa.
and shut us down.
Okay.
Barbie herself is about to launch out of here and be like, you need to delete that. Retract it.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So she goes to get a Band-Aid, and while she's getting a Band-Aid, she's like, oh, dang, I have a flat tire. So she's calling the flat tire homies, and in the meantime, of course, Harold takes his purple crayon out, and he draws a tire, and goes, and it becomes real. And of course, the kid is like, how did you do that?
Superpowers.
Yeah. And so then the mom isn't like, she doesn't really ask questions. She sees her as this random purple tire that Harold suddenly has, and she's like, oh, thanks.
So is everything he draw when it comes to life, is it all purple?
Yes. So the tire is purple.
I love
yeah.
that. Does it look cartoony, or is it
no,
like...
it does at first, because it looks like what he draws.
When he's drawing.
And then it becomes real. It like poof.
It's
and
just
then
purple.
It's real, but it is purple.
Okay.
So she changes her tire, and the kid starts talking about this guy, Carl, who is like a lion dragon. And we realize that's who he was talking to in the car. So there's this lion dragon, Carl, and the mom is kind of like rolling her eyes like, yeah, sorry about my kid. But Harold and Moose are acting like it's real. And they're like, oh, he's like tickling me, and and they like being cute about it. And so that's endearing the mom toward these men. And the mom's like, oh, cute. They're like playing
Aw, the grown man in a onesie.
yeah. Well, he's not in a onesie anymore. Remember, he got real people clothes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We skipped that montage where he went shopping.
He got real
Drew his
people
own clothes on.
Yeah. So he's like in a button down,
Okay.
like kooky printed shirt.
Okay.
The mom is like, well, can I give you a ride? That's the least I can do for running over you. And Harold's like, that'd be great. So they get in the car, and she's like, where can I take you? And Harold's like, I guess old man's house.
That's like that one scene in the movie where Dakota Johnson gets in the cab, and he's like, where are you going? And she's in New York, she gets in the cab, and he's, where are you going? And she goes, home. I'm going home. And he's like, lady, we're in New York. Where are you going? She's like, what?
That's exactly what it was.
I feel like this is just the best parts of every other movie mushed together. I can see why this is becoming
It was
a
such
favorite.
a good time.
Okay.
So then, so she was like, oh, so like your father's house? Because a lot of people refer to the dad as my old man.
Old man, yeah.
And so he's like, I guess you could say that, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't exist. So he's already coming off a little sus now, and she's like, okay. And so she's like, okay, well, where does your dad live? And he's like, oh, I was hoping you would know.
I'm gonna need you to get out of my car now.
She's like, turns out I don't know where your dad lives, actually, but I can drop you off at a bus stop or something. And she's like, or wherever you're staying tonight. And Harold's like, oh, we don't want to know where we're staying tonight. And the kid goes, they can stay with us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we not teach kids about stranger danger anymore?
This mom does, I'm pretty sure. Because
pretty
with
sure,
the whole
okay.
movie, this mom, what I appreciate about this movie is that other than the tire appearing out of nowhere, this mom is constantly like, no. Because she's like, this isn't tracking with me, I don't feel safe, I don't like this, and she will speak that out.
Perfect.
So she says, oh, no, we don't have room. You know, she tries to play it like
she's
that
like-
at first. We don't have room. And of course the kid is like, yeah, we do, above the garage or whatever. And
Telling specifics about our home.
honestly. And so she's like, well, no, you just can't, you can't stay with us because we don't know you, like, at all.
Telling it to him straight up. That, we love it. Thank
Don't
you,
know.
Miss Stationell, for keeping it real.
And the kid is like, well, what did Dad say? And you get the sense that Dad's dead. What did Dad
What happened
say?
to Nick Miller?
I don't.
What do you mean?
Oh god, the kid actually kind of has like a.
What do you... This is like the multiverse. No, Jessica Day, no!
Oh, I wish
New
she
Girl
had been like a
fans-
teacher instead. That'd have been so
New
perfect.
Girl fans, do not go see this movie. They knew. They probably had the original script, her being a teacher.
I mean,
that's
yeah.
that always in the movies seems like the fallback plan trope.
Yeah.
So, and then they were probably just like, no, this is a little too
Jessica.
on the nose.
So she was like.
So Nick Miller's out of the picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the kid's like, well, what did Dad always say? He said, you know, we should always be kind and blah 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 blah. And I don't know how this makes the mom be like, okay, fine, but she begrudgingly is like, fine, like one night you can stay here one night.
Okay.
So they go to this place above the garage. It's a really cool looking place, and it's got all these gadgets and stuff. So of course Harold's like, ooh, this place was fantastic. And there's a mattress, kind of like the one you have over there. There's a mattress that's like leaning against the wall. And Moose is like, how did you know I sleep standing up? And so she's like, y'all are weird. And she goes, you know, she's trying to make small talk, and she's like, oh, so what do you do? And Harold's like, oh, I draw. She's like, oh, an artist. He's like, yeah, sure.
I draw stick figures and tires.
And then, well, what do you do? And Moose is like, I'm a moose.
Keeping it real. I feel like this is already, we're like not even halfway through, and I feel like this is a kid's movie that is meant for the parents. Like, y'all, this sounds like something that is, you know...
It sounds so cheesy, but I promise you when you're watching it, I don't know if it's like the actors that did such a good job or whatever, but it's honestly so funny.
It sounds like that, like almost like a dry humor that is just like, we need to make sure the parents are having the time of their life watching this.
So Jessica Day, of course, is like, all right, I'm gonna triple lock these doors. Like,
I'm locking you in.
And she makes it seem like it's for them. Yeah, like, just so no one comes in, you know, but we know it's all for her because she's like, this is freaking madness. Like, these many days. And she's like, okay, just like, leave in the morning, please, you know? Like, get out of my house. So then the morning comes, and Harold wakes up before the mom does, which I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to say she's a bad mom. I'm not trying to mom shame. But if I had two strange men that I didn't know that were already acting a little sus sleeping above my garage, you best believe I'd be the first person in that house awake. I would not be sleeping in that.
I don't think I would have gone to sleep.
So, you know, it's like bright outside. It's like sunny.
Yeah.
And so Harold and the kid are awake, and they're like in the kitchen. And the kid is like, how did you make that tire? Like, how did you do that? And Harold, the endearing thing about Harold is he just doesn't lie. Like, he's just very honest. And so Harold's
Neither does the moose, apparently.
No, none of these characters lie. So Harold's like, with this crown, you know? And so he's like, here, I'll show you. And so
are
he,
you
like...
saying crown?
Am I saying it wrong? No, there's 3 different ways. It's an accent thing.
I know 2, but crown?
Crown is one of them. Crown, like a C-R-O-W-N.
We're gonna need a pause.
What do you say, crayon? Like, that's a lot. Crayon?
I think I say...
Do you say crayon?
No. I think I say crayon.
Crayon? Well, I say crown.
Crown.
But
can you guys tell us what you guys say? How you say the word C-R-A-Y-O-N?
You had to think about it a second.
I wanted to spell it like crown. Like, I'm telling you. But then also tell us, like, where you're from-ish. Like, what state?
The thing is, we're from the same place, so I don't know what's going on with that. Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Purple Crown. Because he's bejeweled. I don't know.
So Harold's like, oh, with this crown. And then he draws a butterfly.
Okay.
And then the butterfly turns into a real butterfly and flutters away.
Cute.
And so the kid is like, wow, you know. And so he's like, here, you try. And the kid's like, for real? Because, you know, kid knows he's a kid. Kid's like, you sure you want me to have this responsibility? I mean, this seems like a lot. And Harold's like, sure. Because Harold's so, like, everyone's
Harold's a kid, too.
Yeah, Harold...
He's technically
he has
a
grown
cartoon
man
child.
body, but he's definitely, like,
yes.
Yeah.
He's like Elf.
It's like Elf. It's like... Yeah. Except he's not as annoying as Elf.
Okay.
But he's definitely childlike, for sure. So the kid is, like, drawing, and he draws this. I will say, parents, that this is the part of the movie where, like, if your kid doesn't like scary imagery, this might be a lot for them. It was a lot for me.
What did he draw?
He draws a spiderfly. So it's like this, imagine this tarantula with wings.
No. I don't want to imagine anything with wings.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and it's cute at first. I mean, not cute, because it's a spider, but, like, it's, like, you know, just doing the buggy-eyed, like, cute little flying thing, and then it goes, and, like, opens its mouth really wide, and it's, like, sharp bang teeth, and just, it looks all crazy.
Why did he start with that? Couldn't he have started with, like, a smiley face?
I mean, the kid's already talking about his imaginary friend Carl, who's a lion dragon.
That's a good point.
So,
valid. It's like you get one shot at the magic crayon, so
yeah,
you've got to go big.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So, Harold is like, that is terrifying. And so this spiderfly flies into the mom's room, and the mom wakes up, and that's the first thing she sees, and she, of course, screams and hits it.
A tap out.
She's like, what was that? You know, she kind of thinks she's kind of going crazy a little
Yeah.
bit. So she gets out of bed, and when she walks into the kitchen, there's like 100 pies on the counter. Like blueberry pies. Which I think might be part of the book series. Y'all let me know if y'all read the whole series. But there's like a bunch of pies.
There's like a pie waiting for him.
Yeah. So, and then she looks outside, and Harold, Moose, and the kid are on the swings eating pie.
Okay.
Okay, so she walks outside, and she's like, what's going on? And where'd you get the pie? And the kid goes, oh, Harold made it. Harold made all the pie. And she goes, uh-huh. And then she looks behind her, and her house is painted purple. And she's like, my house is purple.
And movie roll credits. My house is purple.
And Harold's like, oh yeah, well, you know, you said you thought it needed a fresh coat of paint, so I thought I would paint it a happy color so you weren't so miserable all the time. Got him. She's like, okay, well, it's morning, so y'all should go. Like, no more pie. Pie's not for breakfast. She's like, y'all need to go. It's time to go. Like, you need to go to school, and you guys need to get out of my house. Like, she's like, get out. She's very much now in this mood of, like, you need to get out.
She's like, I'm a skeptic forever.
The men are like, yeah, sure, you know, so they start walking, like, they start leaving, and the kid starts heading to the bus, but then he's like, never mind. Like, when mom leaves to go to work, he, like, catches up with the men. He's like, what's up? And they're like, oh, shouldn't we be going to school? He's like, oh, I am going to school, just, like, in an indirect way. And they're like, okay.
Love mischief makers.
He's like, I want to help y'all find your old man, you know? So he takes him to the library because that's where you find people and stuff. So he goes to the library, and Gary, the librarian, is like, hey, I can't find your dad because the only identifying details he's giving him is that he's an old man. And the librarian's like, you are literally never going to find your dad. I'm so sorry. You're never going to find your dad.
Accurate.
And so the kid's like, this is useless, like, we should go, or whatever. So as they're going, I don't remember what happens, but, like, Harold uses a purple crown for something, and the librarian sees it, and it's like, oh my god, he's Harold, the Purple Crown. So in this
the librarian knows the book.
Yes, because in this world, that book exists.
That is so fourth wall break almost.
Yes.
Like, that is...
Now it's getting a little, like, Stranger Than Fiction, if you've seen that movie.
That's hilarious. I love that.
So he goes and finds the book, and he sees the author's name, and he's like, okay, this is the person we have to find.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that might actually even go over, like, some kids' heads. But,
Yeah.
like, that's a cool
And I was like, oh, this is fun.
point. That's funny.
Yeah. But they had already left the library at that point.
Yeah.
So what if we put the kid's mom's phone number in the sky and say, call me, old man, you know, that kind of thing. So they're, like, doing all this stuff. Of course, you have to use your purple crown to, like, make a plane. And so
Yeah.
the kid's like, this is awesome. And they're making the planes, and they're doing all this stuff. They're having all this fun stuff. But, of course, now the mom's getting all these phone calls from old men, and that's, like, really annoying her. And then they show up to her mom's workplace at the grocery store, and the mom is like, stop, you're ruining my life. This is too much. She gets a call because the kid got into a fight at school over this whistle that he uses to call Carl. That doesn't really exist in everyone else's mind.
Right.
And so the bullies were bullying him. He gets in a fight. Mom has to go. She's like, I'm going to get fired. Can you cover my shift? So these men...
My manager hasn't hired you, but can you cover my shift?
Yeah. The men cover her shift, and of course, with the Purple Crown, create all kinds of chaos.
Because they don't know what a job is. One of them is a moose.
They don't know. Yeah, exactly. There's a really funny scene too with the moose. Like, he finds his camping part of the store, and there's like this like moose replica, and he just sits in one of the little camping chairs, and he's like, it's really funny.
I was about to ask if the moose like acclimated a little better than Harold, but sounds like they're kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they were like, of course, Jessica Day comes back and is like, how did y'all even manage to do this? Like, whatever. And this whole time, every time she asks the question of, like, how did you do this? How did you do this? Harold has been telling the truth and been like, crown magic.
Obviously, lady. Like...
And the mom thinks that he's just being cute for the kid. Like, the mom thinks... And so she kind of is like, okay, we're, like, dealing with a imaginary dragon lion. Like, can we just not do any more crown magic, please? Like, can we stop doing that? And he's like, yeah, okay. So he just stops, like, talking about crown magic to her. So she thinks that he's, like, fine now. And the kid is like, you never liked this job anyway. She's like, you're right, because she gets fired. So they're like, well, let's go help you find your old freaking man. They go to the city. They're, like, getting ice cream. Harold draws a piano for her to play the piano. It's a very sweet scene, whatever. And the librarian finds finds them and is like, hey, I found your old man. And so they're like, bet, let's go.
Let's go.
Also, the librarian has this really creepy crush on the mom.
Okay.
And
Small town.
It's like a unsettling crush. Like a definitely unwanted crush.
Okay, Gary.
Yes.
Gary.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Yeah.
Let it be. Okay.
Yeah.
We all love Zooey Deschanel / Jessica Day, but like she's got a lot going on right now.
She really does have a lot going on.
Okay.
So but Jessica's like, we shouldn't go with them. Like, let's just hang back here. Like, we've had enough. Like, say goodbye.
Passing it on.
Yeah, like, please.
Passing the baton.
Please. Like, she's almost kind of glad that we can get rid of these men. And so they go to the house where the author is supposed to live, but they find out the author is dead.
Oh.
Yeah. And the house is actually just a museum, like, in honor of him.
Cute.
And so the woman's like, I can give you a tour if you want. And he's like, oh, no, that's okay. Like, whatever. So he's really dejected. And the kid had, like, left school or something in order to, like, find Harold. And so now the mom's, like, just, like, pissed off. And
Yeah,
she's
this kid
like,
is hooked.
yeah,
this
the kid is, like,
on a mission.
Yeah. And so, she gets really upset with Harold. And she's like, you gotta leave us alone. Like, this isn't cool, whatever. And Harold's like, okay, I understand. The kid, at some point, the bullies had trapped the kid in a closet. And he made, like... He drew... Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Before Harold left the house, he, like, snuck half the crown to the kid. So
he, like, broke it off?
Yeah, he broke it off and gave the kid some of the crown. So while he was trapped in the closet, because these bullies, he drew Carl, the dragon lion. So dragon lion is real now in this world.
That's really
So that comes back later. It's really cute. And actually, the dragon lion is way cuter than that stupid spiderfly.
I 100% believe you. So when they're after the museum, he just gives up, or?
He does. He basically gives up, and he says, like, well, if the old man is dead, then, there's no more stories left.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm just a drawing, I'm not the creator. Which, again, feels very Barbie. Yeah, it's really sad. And as he's saying this, like, Moose and Porcupine disappear. At some point, they found Porcupine. Porcupine was being, like, a menace around town and was, like, wanted. And I'm sorry, I skipped over so much of this movie.
After one day, wanted, love it.
Yeah, Porcupine was, like, wanted because she was taking her role of Porcupine very seriously, and she's, everywhere, and, like, people were like, this is a bad woman.
We love. So they scooped her back up. And they what do you mean they disappeared, though?
They put her in jail.
Oh.
Well, before then, they put her in jail. They get out of jail with the crown.
Yeah.
The crown. They disappear because he's saying none of this is real. So then they just wither away because Harold is almost like his words are like becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, like it's not real anymore.
Okay,
anyway.
Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
I believe in fairies. I believe in fairies.
And so then they're just like purple crown dust on the ground. It's really sad. It's a sad part of the film.
Does he know that's why?
Yeah, he gets it.
So then he's like, I need to believe again? Or?
I guess so, because this is where the movie gets convoluted for me and I don't remember a ton. But he gets kidnapped by the librarian somehow.
So is the librarian like the evil guy?
He's the villain. He's the villain. Which we didn't really know he was the villain, but we should have gotten hints based on how creepy he was about the mom.
Yeah.
So like the librarian also writes this book series in which like the love interest of the main character is very much like the mom.
Oh, that's a little too far.
It's a little creepy.
That's a lot.
And like he even draws like illustrations, and one of them looks just like the mom. And Harold's like, "Hey, that looks like your mom." Like talking to the kid. Like,
your mom.
So.
Okay, so
and we see him like his book is getting rejected by publishers. Like they don't want it.
Why does he kidnap Harold?
Well, he wants the crown, the crayon, and the crown, kind of, because his world is very like medieval-y kind of.
Okay.
And so he's like talking to Harold. He's like, you shouldn't have this crown anymore. Like it's not safe for you without the author. Like it's dangerous. So he takes it and he like draws this dungeon to like keep Harold in. And somehow the kid finds Harold again, and now the kid is in the dungeon with him.
This kid, like the mom needs to put a leash on him or a bell. Or, I don't know, like an air tag or something.
She does have, like, an app where she can track him. That's how she keeps finding him. But it's just one of those things where she's like, oh my gosh, kid, like, get away from these strange men. So, they're in this dungeon, but, remember, Harold had given the kid the other half of the crown, and the librarian doesn't know that. So he still has half the crown. So they, like, crown their way out of the dungeon. And now there's a crown fight. And that was really funny.
So do they just, in the fight, they just draw different things to
Yes.
battle each other? Or do they actually, like...
No, it's not like a crown sword fight. That would have been funny. But it's like they're drawing things to, like, fight with and constantly having to draw and, you know, to draw and, like, draw shield and draw this and draw
Where does this take place? Like in an open field?
This is,
in
like,
the
yes, this is,
museum,
like, in a park area now.
Okay.
They're, like, in a park area now. And...
Does the mom join in for this?
Not
like,
yet. Not yet.
Does he have his sidekicks back? Like, Moose?
He does. I don't know how they got back, but they're back.
Because he believes they can.
That's probably what it is. They're back now. And so they're having this crown fight. It's really exciting and really entertaining. But then Gary, the librarian, swallows his half of the crown.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I think it's because they were it was because, like, Porcupine or something was trying to, like, get it.
Kids do not eat crayons, okay?
Well, that's what Harold says. Harold is like, bro, like,
Do not.
Don't you know you're not supposed to eat crayons?
They don't taste good.
No, it's not worth it.
It's not. Don't do that.
But he swallows the crown, and now the power is inside of him. He, like, turns purple a little bit.
It transfers?
Yes, it's, like, in his
What
bloodstream. It's, like... This movie could...
I have the power of the crown!
I feel like this is the part of the movie where I'm like, you're getting a little balls to wall for me. Like, I don't really know what's going on.
It's just like it's stacking one on top of each other on top of each other.
Yeah, like, at first it was just a good time, and now I'm like, what is going on?
Like, it...
So he's, like, he has these purple, like,
I think we just call that,
hands.
like, toxic poisoning. No, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
it's toxic poisoning mixed with a little bit of toxic masculinity.
Oh.
It's just, like, a lot going on. A lot of toxicity.
double, toil and trouble. Okay.
So now he has these purple light-up hands. And he's like, I can feel the power of, like,
I got the power of the crown.
And it'd be like, it's a purple crown. But he's acting like he just freaking swallowed a lightning bolt. He's like, ugh. And so now he doesn't even need to, like, draw the crown. He can just and create stuff. So he goes like this and he creates, like, imagine like a volcanic island kind of thing. So it's like bubbly and fiery underneath. Like, the floor is lava now.
Okay.
Floor is lava. And so Harold is like, this isn't what the crown is for.
Yeah, like, what does he intend to get out of having all this power? He just wants to make his world?
He wants to make the world that he wrote in his book.
Okay.
Yes. That's my thought, because Jessica Day doesn't like him.
Because
he's creepy.
Resolution. He could try this thing called therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, so he creates a volcanic lava.
You know, Harold's trying to draw stuff, but he's like, nothing you draw is going to defeat me now. Like,
Why
I
doesn't
am
he
the
just...
crown. Yeah, I don't know. I
Why
guess
doesn't
because Harold's,
Harold-
like, a good guy. And I think Harold knows that, like, this is the last of the crown if I eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like...
Yeah. I mean, if he eats the last of the crown, you don't even know how long it lasts. Like, if you're
Right.
powerful forever.
Yeah.
If you just, you know, it's out of your bloodstream after, like, a day.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
I don't know. Or, you know.
And what kind of purple hangover would that be?
Oh my God.
Woof. So, you know, they're fighting still, and Moose, this is gonna be a lot. Moose turns into a moose again when he's scared. So, like, at the beginning of the movie, when the mom almost hit him, he turned into a moose for a brief second, and she was like, I thought I saw a moose.
It's kind of like they were trying to fit the moose into the storyline, but they were like, we can't have a real moose walking around,
Yeah.
so we need to turn him human somehow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't really need him, so we'll just have him change back and forth every now and then.
Exactly.
I love it.
So
Okay.
the porcupine scares him by pushing him as if she's pushing him into the fire.
Why you gotta do that? Why?
That seemed
Is he
like
flying
a
moose?
lot to me too. Like, that's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, like what?
Porcupine is a little of a lot.
A little
Anyway,
bit of a lot.
so
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason why she got them all in jail. So she does that, but it works. He turns into woo, and he starts galloping and kind of like rams into
Okay.
the librarian, and also because the boy still has his whistle, and because he'd drawn Carl, he blows his whistle, and Carl the lion dragon shows up and starts like fighting
That's
librarian
cute, yeah.
as well.
Reinforcements, baby.
And then Harold draws another spiderfly, which I don't like those.
But they get the job done.
And this is the worst part of the movie for me.
Oh no.
Spiderfly, like the librarian accidentally swallows the spiderfly. Not swallows, it like goes into his mouth. And you see it like flying around in his mouth. It is disgusting.
No.
And then he goes, he goes, and the spiderfly like flies back out of his mouth. But it's almost like, I don't know if they were like doing this for 3D or something, but then the spiderfly goes like right, like really close to the camera. And I'm just like,
probably.
for the love of God, get out of my face. But anyway, all of this stuff culminates to the librarian being defeated. Eventually the purple stuff does fade away. The purple power fades away. And Harold draws a portal for the other world, basically the world of his book. He draws a portal for it. He goes, hey, go in there. Like, it's okay.
He's letting the bad guy go into his happy place and back into the portal?
The bad guy, the librarian's never been in a portal. Because that's what the librarian wanted. He wanted, like, his dream world.
Okay.
Harold basically drew a portal to his dream world.
Okay.
Yeah.
To the librarian's dream world.
Yes.
Not back to, like,
No,
Harold's.
not back to Harold's world.
Aw, he took mercy on it.
Yes.
Oh, that's cute.
So then Gary...
Also, because he's probably like, you need to get as far away from Jessica Day as possible.
Yeah.
Go into this whole other
Well,
dimension.
this is another what I thought was kind of strange.
They could have just done that to begin with.
What do you mean?
Could he not? Could the bad guy have not been like, hey, I want to, like, live my fantasy. Can you, like, draw it for me?
I don't really understand
help
it.
it out.
Maybe he didn't know how to do that at one point. And also, some of this stuff doesn't make sense because I'm like, Harold, you can draw a portal to a whole other world, but you couldn't draw on yourself a house to stay in that night?
Well, that was the whole point. That was a part in the children's book.
What was that about?
Is when he's on his journey, he's finally like, oh, I want to be able to find my way home, but I don't know where home is. But instead of drawing a home, he draws a mountain to get to home, and then he sees nothing is above the mountain. So then he, like, flies down, and then he sees, like, I think it's like the sun or the moon. Like, he sees the sky and he goes, oh, like, but my home isn't where it should be. So then he draws a window around the sun because he goes, I remember that my home in my room, there was the sun was in the window. And then he draws the house, and then he's like, but this doesn't seem like my house, because where is my bed? So he draws his bed, tucks himself in as he draws it in there, and then he goes, oh, like, I remember my bed was looking out the window and there was, like, the sun or the moon.
That's really sweet.
And then he goes
But
to
he
sleep,
didn't need his
and that's,
home.
like,
He just
the
needed
end.
a dang place to stay.
Yeah.
Anyway. But that's really cute.
Maybe he got carpal tunnel, like, all that drawing.
Maybe. Maybe he didn't know how to draw it to scale. I don't know. Maybe it would be like too much.
Movie magic.
Yeah, it's movie magic. It's
Okay.
kid math. Portal is creepy because in the portal is the woman of his dreams, which again is just Zooey Deschanel in like this like Renaissance looking dress.
Doppelgangers. Okay, bet. Now we're in the upside down.
And
Okay.
I forgot to tell you, the mom at some point has come, and it's like,
I was about to say, like,
yeah. The mom has come to find her kid, and she's like, what's going on here? Because at this point, Gary had swallowed the ground and was like, "Brr," and it's just like, the frick is going. But she does say, like, I should have believed you, like, you know.
yeah.
But she goes, why does that woman look like me? So,
Yes, because when it's not reciprocated, you know, she's
Yeah.
like,
She's
I
like,
didn't, what?
So then Gary goes into his little fantasy world, and the door closes, and the mom is like, let's keep him in there. Like,
Let's put a lock on it.
just keep him in there. So then the dragon lion, like, with fire breathes,
Oh, we like.
and it burns down, so he's stuck there. The movie ends with him going back to the author's house, the author of The Harold and the Purple Crayon.
The like, museum?
Yeah, the museum.
Okay.
And Harold, you know, lets himself look around, and it's all these cute, like, momentums from all the times when the author was, like, drawing Harold and all this stuff.
That's so cute. It's like an ode to
Yeah.
the
It's like an ode to the
original
author. Yeah, it's really
author,
sweet.
The book and cartoon.
Mhm.
That's so sweet.
And then the old lady who, like, works there is like, come with me or whatever, because Harold's like, I just don't understand why he even, like, started drawing Harold. And so she gives him a letter from the author, and in the letter the author explains, like, Harold, you may be wondering why I drew you, and blah blah blah.
You may be wondering why I brought you here today.
And he says, and I want to read it verbatim because I thought this was a really sweet quote, but he says, life isn't what happens to you, it's what you create. And I thought that was very sweet. It's almost like life's what you make it, so let's make it rock, right? Let's make it rock.
Yes.
And so that's the closure Harold needs. And so Harold draws the portal back to his home, and he's like saying goodbye to the kid and the mom, and the kid gives him a Crayola box with all the colors.
Oh, so you don't
Very
have to just be
sweet.
purple anymore.
And so when Harold gets back into his home, he takes all the colors and just starts drawing with them, and it's very sweet.
Oh, because they become magical too? They become magical crayons?
I hope so.
Oh. That's so sweet. Oh my gosh.
It's
It
really
has like
sweet.
a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of like...
it had heart, it had humor,
It had a
was
little
just-
bit of kookiness.
it's very
Sometimes
kooky.
every kid's
Yeah.
movie you gotta be like, wait,
it has some
what?
adventure.
Some adventure. Like a bit of stakes, but not too high and nothing too like grotesque or like weird or like out there.
It's really crazy because if you were to explain this movie to me, I'd be like, that sounds like something I wouldn't want to watch.
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the previews, I was like, oh, it seems big, we need to cover it, but I don't know if it's gonna be any good.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I mean, me and 91% of the people agree. Like, I just had such a good time with it. I don't know why it worked. I wish I could figure that out and analyze like why it worked, because I feel like in the wrong hands, I don't think it would have.
Yeah, to me, I find that sometimes the movies that work the best are the ones you can't explain why. And that's the whole point. You're supposed to just enjoy the ride and enjoy the show.
Yeah. And I just think I enjoyed it. Like, it was kind of stupid. I'm not going to say it was like a work of art or a masterpiece,
Yeah.
but it was fun. I really liked it. So it's still in theaters. It's fresh in theaters. I say if you're looking for a movie, I mean, summer's kind of wrapping up, and you maybe got like 2 more weeks before your kids start school, and you're like, well, let's do one last movie.
And it definitely sounds kind of like a good one to actually go see in theaters.
I would.
Right?
I mean, either way, I would say if you want to do like a matinee, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, theaters prices are a beast right now. But you could also wait till streaming. It's not like you have to see it right now. But I will say, like, if you want to see something in the theater with your kid and you're not sure what to see, but Harold is playing, I really enjoyed it. And I think almost any kid age would enjoy it. Maybe if your kid is like 14, kind of like that, I'm too cool for school, like he might like not like it, or she might not like it. But if you have like a kid that's like 4th grade or under, I feel like they would have a good time. And then if you have like, honestly, maybe even older teens might like it, because older teens, they start to get back into their playfulness.
They really like it, yeah.
But that in between, the tweenie stage might be like, this is kiddie, but like I had a great time.
We will be covering all that they enjoy come fall.
Yes.
When all the
We're
new
gonna get our tween bag.
teen shows are back. And then also episodes that we have that we've already covered, go give them a watch. That age is tough. So we get you parents, we get you caregivers. We've got you covered on that. But this one seems not... I think I love the movies that are really good for the whole family.
That's what I would say. This is probably like a good like family movie.
Because you absolutely hate to have to spend money dragging your kid to a movie knowing that you are not going to enjoy it either. Yes. Or that you're going to like want to fall asleep.
Like, honestly, if you put the movie on right now, I would sit and probably laugh just as many times. Like, it was just one of those... It feels like a comfort watch. Kind of like if you're talking about people watch Elf like every Christmas. Yeah. It just like feels like a comfort watch, and it's fun, and it's just like...
Kind of like Yes Day.
Yeah.
When that came out with Jennifer Garner, where it's just kind of like fun for the whole family, kind of cheesy in parts, endearing in others. Oh, that's so cute.
It was really cute, and I did love the aspect of like them trying to find the person who wrote him. Like it did feel a little stranger than fiction, but not in like a adult way.
True, because I was wondering how they were gonna keep it like the kid's book, because it's a very short book, and it's a small child.
It's like the character in the kid's book became a man, and he grew up and finds out that his creator is not alive anymore, and he doesn't know his purpose after that. And it was a lot. Honestly, you could get a lot out of it if you wanted to.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for
that. I mean,
that.
is it a Barbie ripoff? Maybe. But it was really
Except
good.
I don't think he went to a gynecologist at the end of this movie.
No. He did not.
He did not.
The porcupine might need to, though.
And with that, we're gonna say we hope you draw yourself a magnificent rest of the day.
Oh. Should we try drawing something?
Oh, like a Disney logo?
Hi, I'm Gabby.
And I'm Diane.
And you're watching Watch Like a Kid.
even though it's not a Disney movie. I'm gonna get copyrighted.
That's not a unicorn. That's just a pony with pink hair.